All right, guys. It is time. It is time. Are we starting our discussions? We're going into this? Of course we are. Of course we are, Danny Annie. I always talk about things openly. Now, I want you to know, Danny Annie, I know you're enjoying the game, and I hope it's a good game. I genuinely hope the best for this game. That is why I talk openly about it. I'm not one of those people that's going to be hating on the game overly. I will talk about my issues, my worries and stuff, of course, but I'm not like just trust. I'm not an ass about it. I promise you that much. I promise you that much. Oh boy. But I know people are very, very polarized on this game. I know people are very, very polarized on Dragon's Dog Dragon Age the Veilguard. And let's talk about why. Let's talk about why. So we're going to start this discussion here, starting at the beginning. And in this situation, that is about the review scores. The review scores were a big issue for this game, which was frankly an unforced error on EA and BioWare's part. They kind of caused this themselves. And we're going to talk about why and how this kind of affects the game right now. So let's see the situation. This is a video by Mug Thief. We're not going to watch the video, but I just want to bring it up. This is the problem. So a lot of people got review codes for the game, and a lot of people did not. Now, review codes, for anyone who doesn't know, when it comes to content creators, not every content creator is going to get review codes. I've never gotten a review code for pretty much almost any game, and nor do I expect to. But review codes are something that both game makers and publishers use to advertise their game. They're trying to reach audiences. They're trying to get feedback as well. And a lot of times, this has led to a very symbiotic relationship between content creators and the game makers and publishers to essentially advertise the game and also give feedback, get feedback, and also to, give content creators a little bit of an extra voice. Sometimes I really don't agree with this. Oftentimes I don't really agree with this because I consider this in general already a level of access to journalism. The fact that content creators and games media companies are able to get a lot of this privileged information so early kind of leaves regular gamers in the lurch. Now, a lot of times regular gamers use this information to inform their decision whether they're going to buy the game or not in the future as well. So, a complicated issue. That's my main point here to start. Now, in this case, Dragon Age the Veilguard very publicly gave keys to certain creators and certain people, and they very publicly made sure to, even though they promised they would give keys to certain creators, they decided not to. Now, this has led to a series of unfortunate events, and we'll go into this right now. Right here, you can see the major event. People think that the scores are fake. Because there is a controversy about who got keys and who did not, all of a sudden, people lose trust in the Metacritic and general scores already. That is a big issue. We're not going to watch this video. There's no need to. He basically is going to say a lot of what I already said. But you look on Metacritic right now, and you can actually see that Metacritic is starting to remove certain scores already. This is a very, very big issue, guys. I don't know how to say this in any other small way. Like, this is a really, really negative thing that just didn't need to happen. And also, look at the dichotomy between Metacritic score of the critics and also the users. This is a major thing. You can also compare this to Steam, and we will look at Steam's reviews as well, because I think I think this is like, you run into a situation where because the game is so polarizing, Metacritic user scores can be inherently super low. But you're also running into the issue where because the critics, only certain critics got the review keys early enough, 2 weeks prior and everything like that, the critic review scores are artificially inflated. So it's a very dirty situation. And this is, I consider this market manipulation in some ways. And I'm not going to be holding my my voice on this. Like, I'm excited for this game. So I'm making this video, I'm talking about the situation as someone who loved Dragon Age Origins. And I've had my, issues with the direction of Dragon Age the Veilguard, but I gave a very, very even-handed take on my preview for Dragon Age the Veilguard a couple months ago when what was it, Gamescom? Actually, let me see if I can pull up the video. Let's see if I can find the video. Dragon Age. It was why you should be concerned about Dragon Age the Veilguard. And a lot of people were upset that I made this video. But I thought I was pretty even-handed. Like, I didn't, like, crap on the game or anything like that. I just talked about my worries and how I hope that they end up, like, assuaging those worries and making a great game. That's all I really want. That's all we all really want. Good games. But this is this was a very, very polarizing video. I don't think I've had a normal video regarding Dragon Age at all yet. That makes me a little worried. Like, why this game is so polarizing is kind of one of the big issues for this game in general. But yeah, regardless, if you watch that video, I'll link it in the comments below. I'm not a hater, okay? I'm worried about the direction of the game. But I am also someone that is always having an open mind, and I just want the game to be good. All I care about on this channel is good games. Just give me some good games. Give me some games I can really sink my teeth into, enjoy the RPG mechanics, enjoy the narrative, enjoy the story, enjoy the gameplay of. That's all I want. I don't care about anything else. I don't know why people are complaining about it. I mean, we're going to go into exactly why, Gapped. We're going to go into exactly why. But yeah, it's been an interesting situation, and a lot of it is caused right here with this entire situation with who got keys, the preview event that was essentially courting creators and then not giving them keys and so on based on what they said in the preview event. That's what happened here. So, we get into a situation where everyone looks at the critic review average, and it's like, wow, 89%, 100% of them recommend it. Oh my god, this is great. Look at that. The Gamer gave it a 4 out of 5. GameRant gave it a 10 out of 10. Holy shit, TechRaptor gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Oh my god, Xbox Era gave it a 10 out of 10. This is going to be great. Holy shit, IGN, and I'm not going to pull that one up, but IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. This game is bonkers. Except, wait a second, we have a lot of issues with this. Game reviews, pretty much. A lot of the game reviews say the same thing if you look at them. I've read a lot of the game reviews and so on and so forth. A lot of them in general do this. This is not just Dragon Age, guys. This is games journalism in general. I've talked about in the past, you can look up my videos. I've made at least 7, 8 different videos about how games journalism is fucking dead. And the reason is simple right now, right here. Ziff Davis Media owns all of these. IGN owns all of these. Hookshot owns all of these. There's only a few different main voices in media. It's straight up all of these companies say the same thing because they're all the same company. That really sucks, because that is when you run into a situation where while the user score here is being artificially deflated, it is very clear that whether the game is good, middling, or bad, the meta score for the critics, you also really cannot trust. That leads to a bad situation for you and me, the consumer. I pointed the wrong way. You and me, the consumer. That is the big issue here. That is one reason that we can't trust these things. It's like the glasses industry. You'll find, Gapped, that this situation with access journalism is happening in every industry. It's not just the games journalism industry. It is not just the games industry. I'm talking about it because I'm a gamer, and this is a gaming focused channel. So I'm talking about it through that lens, but it is in literally every single industry. Like, that's the big problem. That's the big problem. And that's why I hate to see it, because, like, dude, I just want the game to be good. I don't want to have to deal with this issue. I don't want to have to deal with people lying. I don't want to have to deal with, like, all these issues. And here's the future. Here's the rest of the issue. So let's talk a little bit about who got the keys for reviewing the game before the game came out, and why this is a little bit of a big deal. So, for example, Skill Up got a key. Skill Up was very positive in their preview event because Austin, who did the review, Austin, who did the preview, is not the same guy who did the review of the game. You can look up Skill Up's video. The reviewer, who is a big Dragon Age fan, didn't like the game. Austin, who this is his first Dragon Age game ever, loved the game and talked about it in the preview. I actually watched this preview offline and everything like that, and he was absolutely glowing about it. Made me feel really good about hopefully the game's going to end up being okay, right? The problem is that if you look at the preview event and who all went to the preview event, including Mr. Matty Plays, his preview video was super positive. If you gave like a really glowing review of the game with very, very few downsides at all in the preview video, that if you made as a content creator, when you were invited to the event, you make your videos afterwards. If you made a positive video, you got a key. If you didn't make a positive video, and if it was, even if it wasn't negative, like we're gonna look at who didn't get keys. The big groups of people that didn't get keys. Extra Life did not get a key. Wolfheart FPS, who's inherently a super fair guy, did not get a key. Luke Stevens Live did not get a key. Those are the three biggest creators, in my opinion, that did not get keys, and they talked about it because it's a bit of a thing. So let's read, in this instance, Wolfheart FPS's statement on it. It says, 3 creators, myself included, were a bit more critical than others with our hands-on time with Dragon Age: The Veilguard. He's talking about the preview event. Not a single one of us will be getting a review code with time to actually give opinions before release. Just thought I would throw that out there. Keep in mind that this does not mean that my more critical opinion is better or more truthful than the ones who've been more positive. I'm just simply pointing out how marketing works. This also doesn't mean the game will be bad. It's just something to consider. I also obviously can see that I wrote a little blurb here as well. And this is the problem here, guys. This is the problem here. When you cut out certain creators and you give codes to certain creators, you're cherry picking the reviews that you want to hear because you think it'll put your game into a more favorable light. And certainly it might do that in a short-term situation. However, what it will also do is make people more polarized on, in this case, an already divisive and polarizing game. And it'll make people put in question everyone who's talking about the game. Suddenly, if you're, Mr. Matty Plays during the preview event, you gave a really glowing recommendation of the game in the preview event, then you are you get people that were calling Mr. Matty Plays here in the preview event an absolute shill. Oh my God, you're being paid by Bioware, blah, 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 this and that, because you are positive on the game. And if you're, negative on the game as a review, then you're like, oh, you're a hater. It just makes the situation worse for everyone. And it's just a massive, massive issue right now. Oh my God, Ogriff, I hope you're okay, buddy. Heterochrome, yes, I am. Spoiler alert, yes, I am. But we're going to talk about that when the time, happens. Keep licking boots? No, I'm not. Look, I made this little blurb here because if you look at Wolfheart FPS's YouTube, he is inherently extremely fair. He's one of the most fair content creators on YouTube. And I'm a YouTuber now, so I follow a lot of these guys. And so people like Luke Stevens and Wolfheart FPS, they are inherently super honest about their thoughts. They'll call a good game a good game. They'll call a piece of shit a piece of shit. And if they're ambivalent about a game, they're like, have worries and everything like that, they'll say that too. They're not just going to have rage bait videos. Okay, well, in generally, Wolfhard FPS literally never has rage bait, like almost ever. I can't remember the last time Wolfhard FPS had a rage bait video, like genuinely. He just gives like information. Like he's what I kind of strive more to be as a content creator. I wish I was as good as him. I'm not. I'm just literally not. But like he covers a lot of RPGs, he covers a lot of ARPGs, he covers a lot of the open world games. This is like his wheelhouse, the Dragon's Age style games. So the fact that he wasn't given a review key is really fucking wacky. The fact that Luke Stevens will like, shit on Bethesda and Ubisoft, which I do too. But besides that, like even then he doesn't rage bait. He just tells it how it is. So when you're looking at creators that are seen, and look, I've had my issues with Extra Life, especially with their Twitch channel, with the fact that they have embeds and that like inflates their numbers and so on and so forth. But besides that issue, which granted is a major issue, their videos on the Extra Life site are quite even-handed. Like, you don't really see rage bait videos for them either. Like, straight up, you see, like, a whole bunch of guide videos. They cover a lot of these types of games. Monster Hunter Wilds, they create a lot of, like, wiki sites and all that. Like, this is not people that you would expect with the level of audience that they have. With the fact that they're even-handed reviewers. With the fact that they don't delve into the they're not like freaking and as much as we love him or hate him, Asmongold, he's not an Asmongold who's gonna like absolutely go for the rage bait and be like, well, this game sucks, it's woke as fuck, like he's not one of those. None of these three are these types of people at all. They're not this kind of thing. So like I can understand why you wouldn't give a rage baiter a key. I can understand why you would stop a rage baiter from having a key. But this is not that type of situation. It's simple. They want good reviews. They don't want to give keys to people that'll be truthful. Simple. You see, I hope that's not the case, Finn Punisher, but it's hard to see this as anything but that case. But yeah, absolutely. And we are going to watch a little snippet from Extra Life right now, because he did give some good information here.
We've been in constant communication with EA and Bioware for years.
This is like just to give background, because Extra Life was in that preview event, just like Wolfhard was, just like Luke Stevens was. I just chose to watch this guy's video instead, because he gave a lot of like background on how the preview event went and how he thinks that the keys were or were not given out.
This title, we've been assured we're getting a code multiple times.
Exactly, yeah. Alpha
years.
Thoughts.
We've been in constant communication with them. They keep sending us
Sigma Thoughts.
We've also been covering the game during that time with
right.
constant news articles. We've done several videos about the game.
And none of these are negative. Like, this wasn't, how bad is it? Like, the video itself wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't like, this game sucked. It wasn't anything like that. Like, literally none of these.
But most importantly, I think that...
But I will say, like, this was... Hold on.
Videos about the game.
You can see this. Is it better than Dragon Age Inquisition? I played it. It's good, but... And that's not rage baiting. He was very even-handed, Extra Life. I've had my problems with them, but they weren't rage baiting there. His entire thing at the end was... he had problems with the narrative. He thought it was a little too simple in terms of narrative. He thought the dialogue between characters was not that great, but he loved the gameplay, and he hopes that the game goes really well, and he's excited to play it. Like, that was like the takeaway. Like, that's not a bad takeaway. That's an even-handed takeaway.
Game. But most importantly,
I like Fester for their Elden Ring info and wiki. Exactly. They do that. Did you know that Extra Life saved the Bioware forums? They literally were allowed by Bioware to take all of the Bioware forums for all of Dragon Age, and I think Mass Effect as well, but particularly Dragon Age, because Bioware shut down their own forums. So right now, the Dragon Age Origins threads are on Extra Life. Like, that's how much Dragon Age is ingrained in Fexter life. Like, this is like a really symbiotic relationship,
to find another channel out there,
an inherently positive one,
so specifically targeted to RPGs that fits the profile for this game. So following all this, we were invited by EA to attend a preview event for Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
This is the preview event that I'm talking about.
September, with a lot of other press and content creators. We were by no means the only ones doing this. And after attending that event, we made our impression.
And for large game releases, this type of preview event and this type of like access journalism that happens, again, guys, this is not a BioWare thing. This is a games journalism thing that happens with all kinds of games. Every single major game company does this. It is annoying as hell. But the problem is that Dragon Age, the Veilguard, is far more divisive than pretty much any other recent game. EA is rough in general. I agree with that. But like, look, Ubisoft just faced this exact issue with Star Wars Outlaws, where they literally invited people over to a preview event for Star Wars Outlaws before Star Wars Outlaws came out. All of the creators, and it was like a lot of YouTubers. It was way more YouTubers than were invited for Dragon Age: The Veilguard. And guess what they did, Finn Punisher? They took all of those YouTubers, except for the people who refused, there were a few, including, by the way, Luke Stevens. Luke Stevens refused to do this trip because he didn't want his view to be clouded. They took them to Disneyland Paris. That's like literally a quid pro quo. Like, I'll just call it how it is. That's fucked. Like, and they got away with it. Like, no one really talked about it. I didn't even really get the chance to talk about it because I was like, busy with other stuff at that point. But like, that was a major thing. And that is sheer access journalism. Sheer and utter access journalism.
Impressions video from playing the game.
They released a buggy mess with really, really bad writing. Yeah, with Outlaws? Oh god, yeah, absolutely. And guess what? Everyone who went on that trip, who went to Disneyland, they gave a positive review. I wonder why. I wonder why the reviews are so positive. But this is a problem that is in games journalism, and it is sad to see this infect Dragon Age, because I want this game to be really good. And now I cannot trust any of the positive reviews or really any of the negative reviews. Do I think that Wolfheart and Luke Stevens and Fexer Life are going to be biased in their reviews now? I don't think so, because, I like them as creators and I think they're pretty even-handed. But it is entirely possible that now that they were burned, they would be a little bit more negative in an actual review for Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Now you can't really trust what they say fully because of this situation. It clouds the situation on every single side. Game magazines. Oh, hey, look, I see you were not here for the beginning of the video, but the people who did get keys, Finn Punisher, were the game magazines. It was PC Mag. It was IGN. It was Eurogamer. And guess what? That means that the Metascore, if you look up all of those, sorry, I meant to look up these. How do we do this? If you look up all the, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Eurogamer, Voxel, GameSpot, so on and so forth. Like, all of those companies, they're like basically the same company. That's the big problem, Finn Punisher. Exactly. This is access journalism. This is exactly what... This is why people don't trust IGN anymore. This is why people don't trust Eurogamer anymore. This is why people don't trust Nintendo Magazine or PC Mag anymore or anything like that. This exactly encompasses that entire issue.
Which has close to 300,000 views on our YouTube channel right now, which I think is one of the most viewed impressions videos.
Hard to know when they've been bribed. Yeah, exactly.
If you watch that video,
I wouldn't say bribe.
Is that we were
like,
cautiously
none of these are actual bribes. Like, an actual bribe is highly illegal. But what they're doing is skirting the realms of what is good and proper. They're not breaking the law. And I would not accuse them of breaking the law until I have proof of them breaking the law. But this is absolutely smoothing out and kind of cherry picking the reviews to try to, kind of like bend the rules quite a bit to make sure that the early reviews are very positive, because they have a lot riding on this game. Game companies do this all the time. Ubisoft did the exact thing for Star Wars Outlaws, and guess what? It fucking worked. The sad part is, guys, it worked. That's exactly what happened. Shinra and the Mako, exactly. Yeah, the Mako reactors, exactly.
About the game, we praised its
Steam reviews, yeah, exactly. That's why I trust Steam reviews more.
We weren't completely sold about the storytelling in the long run, although
Sorry,
we
Steam
got
reviews,
to play a very little bit of time, so we weren't entirely sure. And in general, we didn't really like the character models, the design style of them.
He's talking about the preview, and by the way, when I looked at this segment to share with you guys, I did confirm that his video did say this. He's not cherry picking his own video. He is being accurate, Fextra Life, when he's talking about the preview video and what the conclusions were. It was a very even-handed video, and mostly positive.
Positive impression of the video, and I want to play for you the closing audio from that video right now, so you can see what we told our audience at the end of that video.
Exactly,
I
Zaylan.
still have issues with the
Same
game,
here.
mainly that I don't like the UI and that the dialogue.
And this is why, by the way, Zaylan, I have never been positively or negatively, what's it called? I've never gotten any kind of sponsorship from any game company for anything. I've never been sponsored for any single game ever. Literally ever. If you see me tell you what I think about a game, it's because that is exactly what I think about the game. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I hate liars. I hate cheats. I hate it when even people are skirting around those words and they're just saying, I'm a little biased. I try to be as even-handed as I possibly can. And if I see something that's bad, I call it bad. If I see something that's good, I call it good. Even if it's against the grain. When I made my video, my impressions video on what happened to Dragon Age and all that, I was quite even-handed to the point that people who love Dragon Age absolutely filleted me in the comments. I don't care. I know they're passionate about the game, but I'm telling you how I feel. And these are real issues with the game. And I genuinely feel that if the game isn't as good as it ends up being, perhaps it's because they had a whole bunch of sycophants, like every game company does. Blizzard has this as well, like in spades. Riot Games has this. Every single major game company has this, where they'll just listen to the people that are their biggest fanboys and fangirls, and they won't actually fix what the major issues are of the game. And I really, really feel bad. If anyone wants a good review for the game, my price is $100. Yeah, there you go.
Dialogues didn't seem to be on par with what you could get in other story-focused games that have come out in the last decade, and that I didn't yet get a point where I felt a bond or much interest with my companions who were integral to the story.
And these are not bad things. Like, this is just like, these are the issues that I have with the game, and I hope it gets fixed.
It's funny that I have pretty much been playing these games for the story and getting through the combat, but I may actually be playing the Veilguard to enjoy the combat and get through the story to see the end.
And one of my major issues in the preview video was the combat looked a little lackluster. So I was very heartened to hear that Fextra Life in the preview video liked the combat. That's a good thing. Like, this guy covers Elden Ring. He makes like freaking Elden Ring wikis, like all the live long day. So he's used to Elden Ring combat. So if he liked the combat here, that's a dub.
And progresses into a full game remains to be seen, and there were several big and impactful events that I cannot discuss. But so far, my opinion on this has become more positive, and I would like to urge anyone who loves CRPGs to hang in there and wait for reviews and not write the game off just yet.
Yeah.
And just to illustrate...
Shocker that's saying, don't write the game off, listen to reviews, and see if you really like the game and give it a chance and stuff, was too negative to get a key. That even-handed take was so even-handed, Fextra Life did not get a key.
How mild
how dare
our
he
criticisms were of the Veilguard. After publishing our impressions video, we got called shills. Some people accused us of being paid by Bioware and EA to promote the game, which of course we're obviously not. I was even contacted by another content creator who had attended the event that asked me why my criticisms were worded more cautiously.
I really don't understand why the game's world nowadays is so polarized. And honestly, we haven't put up that video yet, but I did record it. This is a couple months ago, and I really need to catch up and put up that video where I talked about how woke is an overused term and how people who are ranting about woke, literally 100% of the time, they're some of the biggest grifters out there. I'm talking about Smash JT and you know, like Vera Dark and all those people. Like you guys know exactly who they are. And I think because of that, we've seen like only the divide get larger and larger. So now everyone is just yelling at each other on both sides constantly. And so someone who tries to be more even-handed like me, or a lot of other people, the Luke Stevens, the Fexter Lives of the world, and Wolfhard FPS and stuff, they're just yelled at from both sides constantly. It's so stupid, man. It's absolutely so stupid.
And asked me if I was concerned when I made my video that I'd be denied access to a review code.
And doesn't add anything.
I replied, no, I'm not worried about getting denied access to a review code. That simply doesn't happen in the gaming industry. But I was not concerned about this at all. I reassured him that he shouldn't be concerned about this because it's just not really a thing in the gaming industry. And
sadly, it happened. Sadly, exactly that happened.
That it shouldn't scare someone into not...
Veilguard isn't even an RPG, changed my mind. Well, we're going to play it later, so... maybe it will be, maybe it won't be Darkshade, but we really don't know until we play it. That's my real point. Like, would you consider FF16 an RPG? If yes, then Veilguard seems very similar to F16. You got a copy? I bought it, yeah.
Saying what they think about it. So after publishing our video...
I feel so passionate about RPGs. I feel so passionate about all of these issues going on with the game. And we'll talk about, you know, my worries about the game before we play it and so on and so forth. And I'll make that general video as well. I ended up buying the game myself. Yes.
Really immediately, our contacts at EA and Bioware
because I want it to be good. I really do.
Zero. So we started inquiring as to what was happening and reaching out to other contacts in the industry in a bit wider of a circle to try and figure out what's happening. As a result, we discovered that we were essentially getting fake reassurances that we were getting a code to keep us happy while denying us access to the Veilguard. It wasn't too long after this that I began to be contacted by other press and content creators about whether or not we had a code, and generally speaking, I get this a lot. People tend to ask me whether I have a code or not, because we generally get codes for all the big games. I'm not trying to brag, it's just
how it is.
Some people had codes and others didn't, including ourselves.
Skipping a little bit ahead.
And you might have also seen Wolfhart's tweets about this topic.
This is what I was talking about.
Or X, and Luke Stevens' video about this topic as well. Both of those individuals were with us in California.
Again, some of the most even-handed people on all of YouTube. They are the ones who call a spade a spade. It's like, you know, for MMOs, what's his name? Josh Strife Hayes is another one. Very even-handed people. Josh Strife Hayes and Luke Stevens and Wolfhard FPS, and I think Fexter Life as well, but he hasn't confirmed. But Luke Stevens, Wolfhard, and Josh Strife Hayes for sure. They have, for any key that they get, they have a contract stipulation in their contract with the game company giving them a review code that states they can say whatever they feel about the game, good, bad, or ugly. That is required for them to be able to get a code. They make sure of that, each one of those three creators. And that is a thing that a lot of game companies don't like. And I think that might have been why they didn't get a key for Veilguard.
For the preview event, and both of them put out preview videos as well as ours. And I think
Josh Strife Hayes wasn't in the running
some of the three
for Veilguard. He's an MMO guy, by the way.
Topic, or at least most commented on, I would say. And if you read those tweets and you watch that video, you can tell clearly that they also feel some way that they were intentionally excluded by EA from review access.
Because they were.
For some unknown reason, likely because of critical comments they made.
In my opinion, it is because they were. Like, this is straight up, this is a prime example of access journalism. Now, does this reflect badly on the game? I think it clouds the game. I don't think this makes the game bad. It's not going to make a good game bad. It's not going to make a bad game good. However, it clouds the game and it clouds the discussion on the game. And that is why I think this is such a mishandling on the part of Bioware and EA. This was an L that they didn't need, because the game is so divisive already. And I just want the game to be good, and so do we all. Like, really. We just want Dragon Age to be good. Like, we just want all these games to be good. Anyways, guys, that is my entire diatribe. I think access journalism is a major issue in today's gaming world. I really hate the fact that we had to even make this video, but I felt compelled to make this video because it is a big problem. It is not something that happens with just Bioware or EA. It is something that happens with all kinds of games. You want to see the Steam chart? Sure, yeah, you can look up the Steam chart as well. 100%, 100%. Because, yeah, that's a really good point, actually. One of the things that I would recommend, if you're watching this video and you're like, well, Cap Corgi, you said that, you can't really trust the positive or negative reviews for Dragon Age the Veilguard. What should I trust? I would say trust Dragon Age the Veilguard reviews on Steam. The reason is because for Metacritic, in order to put a review, you don't have to own the game. However, for Steam, you're required to own the game, and you can see how much someone played the game. So if someone makes a negative review where they played the game for 14 hours, you'd be like, all right, he at least played the game. If you see a negative review for 2 hours, they probably didn't play that much of the game. If you see a positive review, I don't know if we can find one, but if we see a positive review and it's like, 0.3 hours or something like that, that means they didn't play the game. They're just writing with an agenda or something. It gives you a lot of information. And that is why Steam is just straight up one of the best websites, both for game creators, both for game content creators like me, for players as well, because we get the most information, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This is what I would trust more than anything else. And I'm not saying these are perfect. Steam reviews can be review bombed as well, but usually it's review bombed for a reason. The PSN debacle with Helldivers 2 and stuff. It's usually because the publisher has direct access to the Steam store, and that is the only way to reach the publisher and be like, hey, you screwed something up with this game. So there you go. Critical thinking, exactly. 2 hours in the Veilguard, they got done with character customization. Well, I don't know. We'll see. How are the Steam stats? It's mostly positive. So that's one reason I bought the game. Because I didn't buy the game on the 31st. I only bought it today. And it's, 8,000 reviews, which is a good amount of reviews, and it's 76% positive. That's pretty decent. That tells me that this may not be the best game of all time, and it's still pretty divisive, but it's also probably going to be a good game. Hopefully. That's my hope. And if it doesn't have to be the best game of all time. It doesn't have to be equal to Dragon Age Origins for me. As long as it's a good and fun game, I'm at least decently happy. And if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. I will tell you the full information of what I think, what I feel, how it is. And you'll see in my videos, I make my comments on the previews for Dragon Age the Veilguard, talking about the issues I have with the direction of the game and the development of it and so on and so forth, but with hope that it is good. Like, I'm not saying it because I want the game to suck. I'm saying it because I want the game to be good. And I hope that comes through in anything I do, because that is sincerely how I feel. So if you guys like this video, like this discussion, I try to be as even-handed as possible. Let me know in the comments below. Again, I'm saying that this, unequivocally, I'm not blaming EA and Bioware for this. This is something that they do because this is something that is industry standard. Every single game company partakes in access journalism. Ubisoft just got done with access journalism for Star Wars Outlaws. They're doing the same type of deal, or they were doing the same type of deal until they were called out for it for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Nintendo does this. They invite their more favorite creators from Pokemon and so on and so forth. Every single game company does this. Xbox brings Xbox fanboys, and PlayStation, Sony fanboys are brought to their big events. This is what happens. But just know about it. Just know about it. Understand the reality of the issue so you can be informed going forward. And frankly, look for your friends' reviews. Look for a content creator that you trust, whether it's me or whether it's someone else, especially if it's someone else, because I don't cover every game. I try my best to cover as many as I can, but I'm not a full-time content creator. So, find someone that you trust. Like, I love Luke Stevens and Wolfhard FPS. I don't really like Extra Life. I would say, personally, those are two of the choices and sources that I use for opinions on video games. Whenever I'm looking for a game that I can't cover myself, or I'm not going to be able to play myself, or I'm wondering if I want to even look at the game or not. I find them to be inherently positive sources. So there you go. Anyways, let me know what you think and there's many others, like Josh Strife is a prime example for MMOs. Force Gaming. Force Gaming is great. He gives a lot of impeccable information, and he always tells it like it is as well. So yeah, lots of good creators out there, and I'll always, give it to you straight. Let me know in the comments below who your favorite content creator is to look for the unbiased, unvarnished truth, good, bad, and ugly. I definitely always am on the lookout for more. And, I think a rising tide raises all ships. I think good creators should be celebrated. I think bad creators should be shunned. I'm definitely one of those people. So, for Smash JT or whatever, I think we need less of those polarizing people who do nothing but rage bait. And we need more even-handed creators, and I try to do that myself. I try to be that myself and try to create the change that I want to see. So regardless, you guys like the video, give this video a like, give it a sub, share it with your friends. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know if you think this video is even-handed or not. I try to be as, positive and clear about it with as much good information. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And by the way, the next video will be my thoughts and worries as a preview to Dragon Age the Veilguard before we start Dragon Age the Veilguard. There we go. I'll let you know how it goes.